before we get the skates on, we're going to start off with some activation here. So what we do have, we have one slide boot on Elvis here, made for a slide board. Works great on slide board, obviously, but also works great on synthetic ice. We have one foot that's non-booted, so that will give him his stability. What we're going to do, we're going to activate with a reverse lunge. We'll start activating, and then we're going to do a lateral squat as well. So the non-booted foot will stay stationary, while this one reverse lunges, and then he's going to squeeze, use his glutes to squeeze back up. This is a great way to target the psoas. All right. Beautiful. So with all my athletes, I do a lot of movement screens, and Elvis has really come a long way. His movements, his patterns are very, very good now. Good. Very, very good sagittal alignment. Obviously glutes, psoas, hamstrings. Excellent. Let's turn sideways and we'll do a lateral squat. Yeah, yeah, perfect. Excellent. He's going to squeeze, abduct and adduct. He's going to squeeze up every time. How's that feel?
It's really good. It's just all about the technique with it, just the form. It works the exact muscles that I use for skating, which is perfect.
Perfect. You see what Elvis is doing? Very, very controlled. He's not rushing through the movements. So again, I always say I look for quality of repetition, not quantity. And you see he's getting the most of each and every rep. What he's doing here, if he does 8 reps of this, it's better than just squeezing out 100 reps really quickly and not really activating, not really targeting. So we'll switch sides, we'll do the other side. How's that feel?
It's really good. You can feel the blood flowing already in the legs and the groin area too, where it's really, really delicate.
Groinoplex.
Yeah.
Especially with a groin injury. Obviously you guys know that Elvis in Nagano, I believe.
Yeah, Nagano.
Had a serious groin, was it groin hernia?
Yeah, it was a groin tear. Ended up tearing the lower abdomen as well. All because the hip flexor muscles were too tight and put the pelvis out of alignment, making the groin always taut. So then when I go to use it, I would hyperextend it over a 6-month period, and eventually just...
Especially with the amount of power that you exude when you're exploding. You ever seen Elvis skate in person? I know you've seen it on TV, but in person it's a different level. It's like freaky, actually. Good. So pure performance is very, very hard to target, but the best way is just lying on your back on the ground as if you're doing a hip extension, that type of setup for it, and just do a posterior pelvic tilt. That's a very, very minor motion. Best way to activate and to target that psoas. Good. Lateral squat. Okay. Again, very, very quick, easy activation, easy to do. In a boot, a lot of times on hardwood floors, you know, wear a sock on one, wear a barefoot or a running shoe on another. You can do it at home, you can do it on a tiled floor. Good. The athlete should know themselves as well. Get the feedback from the athlete, let them tell you when they feel it, when it's ready to go. Obviously, Elvis is ready to go.
All good? Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna work on a drill today for Elvis, and Elvis will tell us where he needs power, and we're gonna do a drill today that's really gonna help him create explosive power with a very, very small amount of travel distance. Similar to in martial arts, you might have seen the 1-inch punch or the 3-inch punch. Very, very low travel distance but explosive power. So this is something we're going to develop with Elvis. You just tell us about where you need that power.
Yeah, well, right at the end of the jump, say for an axle jump, especially for a double axle, triple axle, that type of thing, you want to get right at the end of the toe, right at the peak moment, right there. Then, as we step up into the air, we cross in. So right at that moment, we're rolling from basically from mid-back of the blade to the toe. And we're generating power from, if I over-exaggerate it, I'm stepping like this and then rolling. As this leg, like a pendulum, rolls forward past up to the top, you're following it on the blade as well to the toe. So as the leg is back, we're near the middle to back of the blade. As this gets to the middle, we're in the middle of the blade. As it gets forward, we're on that point. And as we get to the top, we're popping right up to the top. Then from here, we're rotating in, and then we're pushing off the ice. So I want to generate power right at the moment, right there. And it's all right at that moment to push up into the ice, or from the ice into the air.
Perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to get Elvis to pre-activate, and what we're going to do, we're going to do a dorsiflex, plantar flex. So he's going to do that and just rock up and rock back, rock up and rock back. He's going to be picking every time he does that. Again, that's a significant part of having this synthetic ice. You can't just do this on a gym floor, right? So that's the beauty of having this surface here, which is a multi-purpose surface. So just start activating each. So you're using one foot only to jump, right?
Basically, for axle, it's 1 foot. This is it's like a swinging, like if you're doing basketball, a guy jumps up, same idea. But I'm rotating, I'm curving on the ice to create the rotation. On the ice to create and then spin and come off the ice. For other jumps, say for like a toe loop, we're actually using two legs here. So I'm picking in and then I'm passing through and then stepping in. So there's a little bit more of, there's jumps and there's leaps. So for axle, sow, and toe loop, sow, cow, and toe loop is more like a leap, where a loop, flip, and lutz is literally a jump. For a loop jump, it's completely off the right leg, rotating and then lifting from here up, like so. Yeah. Flip and lutz, flip jump, you're toeing in, you're on an inside edge, you're pushing up into the air from here. Lutz jump is very similar. You're on an outside edge on this leg and toeing in, pushing off here from this way and pushing up into the ice, off the ice into the air.
I hope you guys paid attention. There'll be a skill testing quiz at the end of this. I didn't catch any of it, went right over my head, so you guys better be paying attention.
That's kind of the Reader's Digest version. That's the quick way. It's tough to explain without actually showing you its speed.
Yeah.
But that's right at the moment of takeoff is what's happening. A lot of times, if people are just watching skating, you see us going backwards or forwards, and then you see a toe and then a jump.
Yeah.
We're using different legs to toe in, different ways of entry, but there are 6 different jumps.
Yeah.
3 edge jumps, axle. There's the sow cow, which takes off like so, and then the loop jump, which rotates like so. The toe loop, we're picking in with the left foot, passing this leg through up into the air, and the flip and the lutz, which I described for you. So that's basically how it works. But it's very difficult to show you here, and you'll have to see it in motion. And then when it's actually slowed down, it's much easier to pick it out.
Wow, it's amazing. Okay, so let's try doing the dorsiflex, plantar flex, just to start activating.
So from here, you just want this.
And then you're going to go up, and then plantar flex and go up, and just hold it, and come back down. And just keep on, going through, and up, So go through the motion about 6 times, and then after that, very similar to what we do on dry land. So when we started working true plyometric training with Elvis, that's when he really started seeing the benefits on the ice. So the dry land stuff really pays off for the sport-specific stuff when he's doing his explosive, crazy jumps. The stuff we're doing, which is activating the stretch shortening cycle, a true plyometric. Elvis has got a beautiful contact time of 0.2 seconds or less, which truly activates the stretch shortening cycle. We do that with, give me one sec. Very simply, we do that with even 6-inch hurdles. We do 6-inch, 12-inch, and then we have adjustable height hurdles, which Elvis is, doing 50-inch hurdles over. but making it a true plyometric. So this is what we would do on dry land. And we'll progress Elvis up to the point where he's got the blood flowing, it's activated. So now try doing that same thing, but coming up a little bit off the ground and landing back on your pick and then flattening out again. Similar to what we do with the jumping squats.
So from here, it's...
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your hand on the treadmill if you get.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. Good. Excellent. And while he's doing this, so take your time. This is very similar to a box jump. A lot of people do box jumps and they'll do like 50 box jumps. To me, that, it's just too much, right? I'm gonna get Elvis to do sets of 6, but he's really gonna focus on each and every rep. Again, it's more the quality of the repetition versus the quantity of the repetition. Good. How's that feel?
It feels good. It's tough. It's nice to do it on a surface like this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't break away like ice does. So, but it does. It is tough because we don't have the speed.
Yeah.
Because the speed gives us some form of balance.
Yeah.
Because we're on a blade that's barely thick there. It's very, very thin.
Yeah.
And just trying to find the balance. But it's all about trying to feel the actual your foot and the bottom of the foot, feeling the boot. And then through the boot, the blade, and where you're actually pushing off to gain and to get the power generated and that exact point. It becomes almost like a pinpoint. It's so small.
Exactly. So we're gonna work on this for a little bit. Again, it's a matter of progressing. So there are studies done, and I'll put a link to the latest muscle research study that shows the significance of an increase in workload and the sliding scale of decreased performance. And the study has shown that obviously it's physiological, but a lot of people don't understand that a lot of it is psychological as well. And also the psychological leads to testosterone, your resting testosterone being lowered, and also affects your cortisol levels. So that's very important when you're progressing to your client to monitor these levels. Again, I'll put a link. I'll show you, I'll write down the time to a latest white paper. I have one of my WongMania team doctors have done this study, and I'll link to the exact time, and I'll show you the research study. And again, very, very important because everyone can ramp up the intensity. There's a lot of people out there that do these crazy, hard, intense workouts, but a lot of times that's to the detriment of your client, of the clients, of the athletes. So I'm I'm like Elvis for strength conditioning. I'm like Elvis for him on ice. When he trains someone on ice, he's like very, very minute in his details. He's like splitting hairs with everything. And that's the same thing I do with my athletes. So Elvis will tell you, when we started, I do a full functional screen, a functional movement screen, to make sure that the patterns are good. So what I'll do when I increase the workload, increase the intensity, I'll make sure first and foremost that the patterns are not compromised. Because once the patterns are compromised, obviously that's going to lead to injury. But again, you have to look at not only the physiological factors, but the psychological factors and the endocrine factors. Again, the psychological factors will lead to the endocrine system bringing down your resting testosterone and producing the cortisol, which is going to decrease performance. So the question is the performance being decreased because of the increased workload, or is it because of the psychological factor? And that kind of leads into what we're going to do a little bit down the road. You're going to see some training that Elvis and I have done about flow state, getting into the right mental state. It all works as part and parcel of a package, and I love the selfie. Sorry, the cameraman was doing a selfie back there, so yeah, it was very entertaining. So it's all part and parcel. Again, everyone can do a 2-hour session. Everyone can make someone throw up, but that is not the objective when training a client. There are people that try to replicate, even my system, and they'll do like a 2-hour workout and just push, push, push. Again, you can get injured. You will get injured if you're not looking for the proper science. And again, it's about doing the exercise with the proper movement pattern. Again, I look at creating mobility, then stability, then functional pattern. Once that is all in place in the pyramid, then we take it to the next level, which is the performance end. You don't go to the performance end without having the basis of the foundation. So we'll get more into that, but thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time.